What is ethanol? Ethanol is a type of alcohol that is made from plants, such as corn, sugar cane, or wheat. It's the same kind of alcohol that is found in alcoholic drinks, but when we talk about ethanol, we usually mean the kind that is used for other purposes besides drinking. Ethanol is often used as a fuel, just like gasoline that we use to power cars. It can be mixed with gasoline to make a fuel called E10, which is used in many regular cars. Some cars, called flex fuel vehicles, can even use higher blends of ethanol, like E85. Ethanol is also used in things like hand sanitizers and cleaning products because it can help kill germs. It can be used as a solvent, which means it can dissolve other substances. One cool thing about ethanol is that it can be made from renewable resources, like plants, so it is considered a more environmentally friendly option compared to fossil fuels. It can help reduce greenhouse gas emissions and dependence on non-renewable resources. However, it's important to remember that ethanol is still a type of alcohol, so it should only be used by adults and handled responsibly. Drinking ethanol can be dangerous and harmful to your health. How is ethanol produced? Ethanol is mainly produced through a process called fermentation. It starts with a plant material, like corn or sugarcane, which contains a sugar called glucose. First, the plant material is crushed or ground up to release the glucose. Then, yeast, a tiny organism, is added to the mixture. The yeast eats the glucose and breaks it down into ethanol and carbon dioxide. It's a bit like how we eat food and our bodies turn it into energy. The process takes place in big containers called fermenters, which are kept at a certain temperature. As the yeast consumes the glucose, it produces ethanol as a byproduct. This mixture is then distilled to separate the ethanol from the other substances. After distillation, the ethanol is purified to remove any impurities, making it safe for use in various products, like fuel or sanitizers. So, in simple terms, ethanol is made by using yeast to eat sugar from plants and turn it into alcohol. It's an interesting and natural process that has been used for a long time. What are the uses of ethanol? Ethanol has several important uses in our everyday lives. Here are a few examples. 1. Fuel. Ethanol can be mixed with gasoline to create a fuel called bioethanol or ethanol blended fuel. 1. This fuel can be used in cars and other vehicles. 1. It helps to reduce air pollution and dependence on fossil fuels, which are harmful to the environment. 2. Hand sanitizers. Ethanol is a key ingredient in many hand sanitizers. 2. It helps to kill germs and keep our hands clean, especially when soap and water are not available. 2. So, the hand sanitizer you use to keep your hands germ-free often contains ethanol. 3. Cleaning products. Ethanol is also used in some cleaning products, like glass cleaners or surface disinfectants. 3. It helps to dissolve dirt and grime, making it easier to clean various surfaces. 4. Solvent. Ethanol can act as a solvent, which means it can dissolve other substances. 4. This property makes it useful in different industries, such as pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, and printing. 5. Alcoholic beverages. Last but not least, ethanol is the type of alcohol found in alcoholic beverages like beer, wine, and spirits. 5. However, it's important to remember that drinking alcohol is only for adults and should be done responsibly. So, ethanol has a wide range of uses, from being a fuel alternative to cleaning and disinfecting, and even making alcoholic drinks. What are the advantages of using ethanol as a fuel? 1. Renewable resource. Ethanol is made from plants, like corn or sugarcane, which can be grown again and again. 1. These plants are renewable resources, unlike fossil fuels such as gasoline or diesel, which take millions of years to form. 1. Using ethanol helps reduce our dependence on non-renewable resources and contributes to a more sustainable future. 2. Environmental benefits. When ethanol is burned as fuel, it releases fewer pollutants into the air compared to fossil fuels. 2. It produces fewer greenhouse gases, like carbon dioxide, which contribute to climate change. 2. So, using ethanol as a fuel helps reduce air pollution and minimizes the impact on the environment. 3. Energy security. Many countries rely on imported oil to meet their energy needs. 3. By using ethanol as a fuel, countries can decrease their dependence on foreign oil and have more control over their energy supply. 3. This can enhance energy security and reduce vulnerability to fluctuations in oil prices or geopolitical issues. 4. Supports agriculture. Ethanol production creates a market for agricultural products, such as corn or sugarcane. 4. This can benefit farmers and rural communities by providing income opportunities and promoting economic growth in agricultural sectors. 5. Compatibility with existing infrastructure. Ethanol can be blended with gasoline and used in vehicles with little or no modification to the existing infrastructure, such as gas stations and vehicles. 5. This means that it can be easily integrated into the current transportation system without requiring extensive changes. So, ethanol as a fuel offers advantages such as being a renewable resource, reducing environmental impact, promoting energy security, supporting agriculture, and being compatible with existing infrastructure. Are there any drawbacks or challenges associated with ethanol as a fuel? While ethanol has many advantages as a fuel, there are also some drawbacks and challenges to consider. 1. Lower energy content. Ethanol contains less energy than gasoline, which means a car may not go as far on a gallon of ethanol-blended fuel compared to regular gasoline. 1. This can result in slightly lower fuel efficiency, meaning you might need to refill the tank more often. 2. Land and water use. Producing ethanol requires a significant amount of land and water resources. 2. Growing the crops used for ethanol production, like corn or sugarcane, requires land that could be used for other purposes, such as growing food. 2. Additionally, the water used for irrigation and processing can put a strain on local water supplies. 3. Potential food versus fuel conflict. Since some crops used for ethanol production, like corn, can also be used for food, there is a concern about a potential conflict between using crops for fuel and using them to feed people. 3. This can affect food prices and availability, especially in areas where food security is already a concern. 4. Distribution and infrastructure. While ethanol can be blended with gasoline, not all vehicles and gas stations are equipped to handle higher ethanol blends, like E85. 4. This can limit the availability and accessibility of ethanol-blended fuels, as it requires an infrastructure upgrade to support higher ethanol blends. 5. Environmental considerations. While ethanol can reduce greenhouse gas emissions compared to gasoline, the overall environmental impact of ethanol production and its full life cycle should be considered. 5. Factors such as the energy and resources used in crop cultivation, transportation, and processing can affect the overall environmental footprint of ethanol. It's important to balance the benefits of ethanol as a renewable fuel with these challenges and work towards solutions that minimize the drawbacks associated with its production and use. What are the potential environmental impacts of ethanol production and use? 1. Land use. Growing crops for ethanol production requires large areas of land. 1. This can lead to deforestation or the conversion of natural habitats into farmland. 1. It can disrupt ecosystems and harm wildlife that depend on those habitats. 2. Water use. Ethanol production also requires a significant amount of water. 2. When water is used excessively or not managed properly, it can lead to water scarcity or pollution. 2. It can affect the availability of water for other uses like drinking, irrigation, or supporting natural ecosystems. 3. Pesticides and fertilizers. To grow the crops used for ethanol production, farmers may use pesticides and fertilizers to protect the plants and help them grow. 3. If not used responsibly, these chemicals can harm the environment by contaminating soil, water bodies, and impacting biodiversity. 4. Energy intensity. The process of converting crops into ethanol requires energy, which often comes from non-renewable sources like coal or natural gas. 4. The energy used in the production process contributes to greenhouse gas emissions and may offset some of the environmental benefits of using ethanol as a fuel. 5. Transportation. Transporting the crops from the fields to the ethanol production facilities requires energy and can lead to emissions from vehicles. 5. The transportation process contributes to the overall environmental impact of ethanol production. It's important to note that efforts are being made to mitigate these environmental impacts through sustainable farming practices, improved production techniques, and the use of alternative feedstocks for ethanol production, such as agricultural residues or algae. By being aware of these potential environmental impacts and working towards sustainable practices, we can continue to improve the environmental performance of ethanol as a renewable fuel. Conclusion. In conclusion, ethanol is a type of alcohol that is made from plants and has various uses. It can be used as a fuel, like gasoline, to power vehicles and reduce our dependence on non-renewable resources. Ethanol is also used in hand sanitizers, cleaning products, and as a solvent in various industries. The advantages of using ethanol as a fuel include its renewable nature, environmental benefits such as reduced greenhouse gas emissions, enhanced energy security, and support for agricultural communities. Ethanol can be blended with gasoline and used in existing vehicles and infrastructure. However, there are also challenges and drawbacks associated with ethanol. These include lower energy content compared to gasoline, land and water use concerns in ethanol production, potential conflicts with food production, limitations in distribution and infrastructure, and the need to consider the overall environmental impact of ethanol production. By recognizing these challenges and working towards sustainable practices, we can continue to improve the environmental performance of ethanol and harness its benefits as a renewable fuel. It's important to weigh the advantages and challenges of ethanol and make informed choices about its use, keeping in mind the need for environmental sustainability and responsible consumption. Thanks for watching the video.